Hello, Sagittarius. So here's your reading for the week of March 5th through about the 11th. These are general. Take what works, and what doesn't work just doesn't work. But if you stumble upon this reading at a later date, there may be something in it for you. But let's see what the cards have to say. In your recent past position, you have the Sun. In your current energies, you have the Four of Swords. In your near future position, you have the World. And your challenge for the week is the Six of Pentacles reversed. And what's recommended for you is the Seven of Cups. The Sun in your recent past position indicates that you went through a happy phase. Maybe there was some light that was shed on a situation, or you kind of, if there was something that you weren't really sure about or something not really going well, you finally gained some clarity on something. It was a happy phase full of, vibrance and vitality, and you just felt really, really good and positive about something. But currently, your current energies are the Four of Swords, which represents you're taking a break. So you may have actually gone through something a little bit more stressful, and that ended, and then you were going through a period where there was a lot of light shed on that situation. You got a lot of information or something. It just seemed to go much better, and now you might actually be just really kind of worn out from the whole process, so you might be taking a break. Sometimes I get this when I'm getting sick a little bit and I need to take a little bit of a break. Because this is for the week, so you might be kind of feeling a little bit tired. Because even sometimes the Sun, I feel like it's very energetic and everything. And sometimes even after that, we get a little tired from having an energetic moment, So I think you're taking a little bit of a break. You're in a little bit of a pause. But this isn't a bad pause. It's like you deciding like, okay, I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to just kind of rest, relax a little bit. So that's fantastic. But what's coming in for you is the World. So you're completing something. This is a card of completing a cycle. Something's finishing. It's kind of when one door closes, a new one opens. It's like you're finishing something and now you're going to be off to doing something else. So that's really, really fantastic. And I wonder if this World is representing whatever this process was from the Sun and beyond. Maybe you kind of went through it. You went through the worst of it. You've gained the clarity. Now you're taking a break and you're just waiting for it. You're at the end of it. You're waiting for it to finish out completely. So that's really great. But what's your challenge for the week is the Six of Pentacles reverse. Now, this could be that you are giving too much to something and it's more one-sided. So watch out for anybody trying to take advantage of you, or if you're giving too much to a situation and you're not really receiving anything. And sometimes we could give to a situation and we know we're not going to get anything back, but still it's good for us. It makes us feel good. We want to be helpful, but you don't want to be taken advantage of. So you have to make sure that whatever you're doing, it's not going to be to your detriment. So whatever this represents, you make sure that it's not to your detriment, that you're over giving to somebody else. So that's your challenge for the week. Now, the Seven of Cups indicates for your what's recommended for you is that you have a lot of options right now. I think because you're completing whatever this is, you're near the end, you might be having multiple avenues coming up or multiple doors potentially to be open. So, but this always represents, you could be a little bit daydreamy, but this always represents that not all that glitters is gold. So whatever these opportunities or options or different ways of doing something or whatever this represents for you, you have to make sure you're actually looking at it and making sure that it's actually what you want. There's a lot of choices, so that's really, really good, but not always the choices are what's best for us, and sometimes certain choices just don't really work for us anyway. So you have to take a little bit closer look at the aspects that I think you're going to be going into in the future, and now choosing the best option that's going to work for you, work for your life, and ignoring anything that's going to be draining you or not really good for you. So I think that's really, really fantastic, because maybe some of these aspects could be like with the challenge, whatever this represents, maybe you're faced with some kind of situation where it's going to be taking from you a little bit more than it should. And that being your challenge, I think you need to review different options that might be a little bit healthier for you, healthier or a little bit more beneficial for you coming in. So that's great. But let's see what else the cards have to say. So first up, we have Moth Spirit, surrender now. I think you're kind of doing that. I think that's what's recommended for you, because with the Four of Swords, you're taking a break. Oftentimes, I get the Sun when I'm really going through a really rough patch, and it's always telling me that things are going to go better, light will be shed on the situation, but it always comes up kind of like during or after I've gone through the ringer with something. So I feel like you may have gone even prior to the Sun in your recent past, maybe in your past, you've gone through the ringer with something, and then you finally had like some clarity, a Sun moment, you finally went through the worst of it, you can have a break. But sometimes that residue really like hangs in there for a very long time. So I think you're in this energy right now of just needing to take a minute for yourself, or just needing to kind of rejuvenate yourself. So I think surrendering now, because you might be feeling a little guilty about it, and you might be feeling like, because you're taking a little bit time with yourself, that you're not spending time in other areas where you might have been used to kind of giving a lot to something. So you might be a little bit more focused on yourself a little bit. But I think your challenge is going to be not to overgive, not to kind of be a little bit out of balance. I think you need to just focus on you right now and just rejuvenating yourself, and kind of, because I think you're close to the end of something, but it's not quite finished yet. But you just might need a moment for you. So surrendering now, I think that's just take a minute, and just sometimes you have to surrender to kind of like the experience and to life in a little bit. In a way, you have to be like, okay, life is one of these weird things. All these weird stuff happens, and you're not always in control, and you have to surrender to realizing that we're not always in control. So, and now you have a Celestite, soothe your soul. And I feel like this is what's going on. You need to just heal from whatever has happened to be able to really step through the gate of something new to come towards you. You know, finish out one cycle and step into your new life. So I think that's really, really good. So you have to just soothe yourself right now. And self-indulgence, focus on self, self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, self-appreciation. So you definitely need to kind of focus on yourself and make sure you're not out of balance, not overgiving to situations or things that are not really beneficial for you. And just take this time right now to just really kind of heal yourself and take a minute. Forgive and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And I think this is really going with, because like I said before, a lot of times when I get the Sun, it's like I have really experienced something very stressful. So I think the Sun really comes after that stressful phase. So I think this is, you're out of the stressful phase, you're almost moving on to the next phase, but I think the residue of all that stress may still be wearing you out a little bit. So you just have to take a moment, and the lessons that you've learned from that, whatever it was, I'm sure there's something you could have learned and something that you can heal from and release. But just know that some of those experiences, even if they were bad, you can take away something from it to better help you move forward, or better educate you in a sense moving forward, and how to avoid certain situations, whatever this represents. And let's see what quote we get for you. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And that's very, very true. I think sometimes we feel like we're going through these rough stages, but the light is going to come through somehow, some way. And I think your light is starting to shine. So that's really, really good. But if you're still in that dark phase, though, because sometimes those moments really linger with us, you just need to start seeing the more positive, because maybe mentally you're so geared, or you're on this like, okay, something bad's going to happen. Like it's going to, something's going to come out of left field. You might have to start retraining your mind to be like, no, I'm going to just start looking at the positives. Things are going to go well. The worst is behind me, and I'm just looking at a brighter future in a sense. Now for your affirmation card, we have, today I am mindful. Today I know deep in my heart and soul that happiness and self-worth are with me. And I think that's really positive and important, especially if you went through it and you're a little bit worn out. So you just have to kind of go on a positive way, positive mindset moving forward. And let's see what Bob Ross has to say for you. Every painting is going to be different, and that's what makes it great. And I think this is saying like everybody's life is a little different. There's no cookie cutter way around this, and I think the uniqueness of all of that is incredible. So you're creating your life, and your life is going to look different from everybody else's life because you have all your experiences, and everything about you is very, very unique. So don't worry if somebody else is doing something some kind of way. They're creating their own life. So you focus on your own painting and your own life and how you want your happiness to be, your life, what you want in it, and just focus on that. So that's really fantastic. Now let's see what spirit of the dish shall be with you this week. You have the spirit of the extra firm one, which is the spirit of the tofu. For your dinner and a movie, you have drama, movies, and Mexican food. For the energies you either need to tap into or be aware of, you have Aries, and this is all about kind of energy, initiative, a little bit temper, but it could be that little initial spark or something, that little excitement, like, oh, I want to try this type of feeling. So you might need to kind of tap into that little excitement again. And you also have Gemini, which is about communication and thought processes. And Gemini, I see it as very duality. It's like a dual sign. It's kind of like that devil's advocate a little bit. So you might be needing to kind of go in your mind and kind of, I don't want to say argue something out, but try to figure out things from all different angles and have that little mental chatter of like, okay, well, what's the best thing for me? What if I do this? Then what will happen if I do that? You know, kind of that kind of mental pre-planning in a sense. You have the moon, which is about emotions and habits, and you have Uranus here, which is about independence and eccentricity. You have the 7th house, which represents partnerships, marriage, friendships, and legal proceedings, and you have the 10th house, which represents social status, career, and aspirations. And you have number 3, which is an odd number, and that means our special guest that will be answering your questions here today, Sagittariuses, will be the Magic 8 Ball. He shall be out shortly, so think of those questions. And you have dream. So that's really great. So you just have to think about like, what are your dreams? Because I feel like you're finishing something, so you're going to be starting new. So what is it that you want? What are you dreaming of? You have L, B, Z, O, T, F, F, Y, G, and P. And this 9, you don't have any numbers. So there's a 9, 0, 4 that were looking at me. So we'll take those as well. And let's see what little charmy we get for you. Okay, and you have the umbrella. So this is, to me, this is saying that sometimes you get wet. And sometimes you kind of go through crummy situations, but you can bring your imaginary umbrella with you. Like you could bring a real umbrella if it's actually really physically raining outside. But if this is like more of a, a metaphorical thing, you could bring your imaginary umbrella with you. You could like, if something's happening, you're like, okay, I'm going to put my imaginary umbrella on me and I know it's happening. I know it's like, whatever, but I'm not going to let it get to me. So you might have to kind of shield yourself in your mind with whatever BS you were going through or whatever and be like, I'm not going to let this get to me. This is a step in the thing. Sometimes it does rain. Sometimes it happens, but I'm going to try to move forward in a better direction, and I'm not going to let this hinder me or like soak me, chill me to the bone. So that's what I get from the umbrella. Okay, now it is time. Okay, Sagittarius, here he is. Think of your question and let us ask. Oh, mystical, magical 8 ball, the mightiest ball of all the balls in the world. What is the answer to Sagittarius' question? It says yes. There you go. The 8 Ball has spoken. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.